Maya never planned to raise a child alone, but when Lucas turned his back on her dreams, she had no choice. He was the golden boy of the business world, the kind of man headlines called unbreakable. But love had broken him, and she was the reminder of his biggest mistake. For 3 years, Maya built a quiet life far from his shadow. Her world was small but full. Her little girl, Emma, had her smile, her laughter, and her strength. She told herself she didn't need forgiveness, not from him, not ever. Until one afternoon, a familiar voice echoed from the television, Lucas Hale, older, sharper, more human than before. And in that same moment, her daughter, who had never spoken a word before, pointed at the screen and said her first word. It wasn't Mama. It was Lucas. 3 years had passed since Lucas Hale vanished from Maya's life, leaving her with a tiny baby in her arms and a wound that refused to heal. He hadn't called. He hadn't written. He hadn't even asked. And yet, when the news of his appearance on a national talk show flashed across her TV screen one rainy afternoon, she felt something stir inside her that she hadn't felt in years. A mix of anger, disbelief, and something she didn't want to admit. Curiosity. Emma, her 3-year-old daughter, sat on the floor beside her, playing with a set of wooden blocks. She looked up at the screen, blinking with innocence, and pointed. Lucas, she said clearly. Maya's breath caught. She froze, staring at the child as if seeing her for the first time in years. That single word carried all the power of a confession, a plea, and a reminder of the past she had worked so hard to bury. What did you just say? Maya asked, her voice trembling. Lucas, appearing on the screen, was speaking at a charity gala, his usually confident face softened by genuine emotion as he announced a new foundation for underprivileged children. The sight of him, the man who had been her everything and then nothing, struck her like a thunderclap. I said Lucas, Emma repeated, smiling. Maya sank into the couch, her hands clutching her hair. Why now? She whispered. Why, after all this time? The next few days were filled with anxiety she hadn't expected. Lucas hadn't called her. He didn't know she was in the city, nor did he know about Emma's awakening, first words. And yet, the seed of hope, the tiny spark of what could be, had been planted in Maya's heart whether she wanted it or not. She continued her daily routine, driving Emma to preschool, working at the community library, and managing their small apartment with quiet dignity. But her thoughts kept drifting to him. Why had he left? Why now, after 3 long years, was he back in the spotlight? And more importantly, why had Emma chosen his name as her first word? Maya tried to avoid Lucas at all costs. But fate, as it often does, had other plans. The city's annual charity auction for children's welfare brought him and her into the same hall. Maya considered skipping it, but Emma begged her to go. Mama, I want to see the ducks, she said, referring to the small children's exhibit at the venue. Inside, the room sparkled with crystal lights and the murmur of well-dressed patrons discussing donations and pledges. Lucas stood at the center, giving a speech that Maya could hear from across the hall. His voice confident, yet tinged with vulnerability she hadn't expected. Her breath hitched when he looked up, his gaze scanning the crowd. And then, he stopped. Their eyes met. Time collapsed. 3 years vanished in a single heartbeat. Maya's first instinct was to turn away, to protect her daughter and herself from the emotional storm she knew was coming. But Emma, sensing the tension, tugged at her hand. Mommy? She whispered, looking at Maya. Lucas took a step forward, but Maya remained still, rooted in the corner, her heart pounding like a drum. I didn't expect to see you here, Lucas said, his voice low, almost reverent. Maya's lips tightened. You didn't expect to see me anywhere, Lucas. And that hasn't changed. He nodded, pain flickering in his eyes. I know, and I'm sorry. I never meant to leave you like that. Never meant to. She cut him off sharply. Save it. Your words aren't enough. Emma, sensing the tension, but too young to understand its full weight, clung to her mother's leg. Lucas crouched slightly, smiling gently at the child. Hi Emma, he said softly. I'm Lucas. The little girl's eyes widened, recognition dawning. Though she couldn't explain why she knew the name, she repeated it quietly. Lucas. Maya felt her heart twist. It was impossible. He had been absent. She had raised her daughter alone. And yet, here he was, a living, breathing reminder of everything she had tried to forget, and now a figure in Emma's innocent world. Later, when the gala ended and the hall emptied, Maya stood by the exit, Emma's hand tightly in hers. Lucas approached, slower this time, his head bowed in cautious respect. Please, he began, I don't expect forgiveness. I want a chance to explain. You have 1 minute, Maya said, her voice cutting like ice. He nodded, swallowing hard. I left because I was scared. Scared of responsibility. Scared of losing my freedom, my ambition, my everything. And I thought you'd be better off without me. I was wrong. I see that now. Every day, every hour. And this, he gestured toward Emma. This is the proof of what I should have never walked away from. Maya's eyes burned. You walked away. You didn't just leave me, you left her too. And for years, I've been everything to her. I've been both mother and father. You have no right. Lucas nodded again, his jaw tight. I know. I don't deserve to be here. I'm not asking for your trust. I'm asking for permission to be in her life. In whatever way you allow. Emma tugged at Maya's skirt. Mommy, he's my friend, she said innocently. Maya looked down at her daughter, seeing the unfiltered truth in those wide eyes. Her heart wavered. The anger remained, yes, but it mingled with something she hadn't felt in years. Hope. Fine, she said finally, her voice softening slightly. But one condition. You prove you're here for her, not for you. Lucas's face lit up with a mixture of relief and determination. I will, I promise. The next few weeks were tentative. Lucas visited Emma under Maya's watchful eye. He read her bedtime stories, drew pictures with her, and learned her favorite songs. Every day, Maya observed him quietly from the doorway or the kitchen, noting the way his presence made Emma light up. She felt the old anger simmer beneath the surface, but it was tempered now by the recognition that Lucas had changed, not entirely, but enough that she could see the man who had once loved her and might still. One afternoon, as they played in the small park near their apartment, Emma ran to Lucas with a dandelion. Here, Daddy, she exclaimed. Maya froze. The word was clear. Daddy. Her chest tightened. Lucas's eyes widened, emotion flooding through him. Emma. He whispered. Did you just... The little girl giggled, unaware of the weight of her own words. Daddy. You play... Maya's knees nearly buckled. She had expected resentment, anger, or confusion. Instead, her daughter had chosen him herself, and in that choice lay a bridge between the past and the possibility of a future she hadn't dared to imagine. Lucas knelt down, tears threatening to spill. I'll never leave again, he said softly. I swear, never again. Maya looked away, blinking rapidly. We'll see, she said quietly. And in that fragile moment, the first threads of reconciliation began to weave themselves into their lives. One laugh, one word, and one heartbeat at a time. The mornings were the hardest. Maya had spent 3 years building a routine that worked for her and Emma: breakfast at 8, preschool at 9, library visits at 10. There was no room for interruptions, no tolerance for mistakes, and certainly no room for Lucas Hale. But now, every morning, she had to remind herself to breathe as Lucas appeared at her door, holding a small bag with Emma's favorite snacks. Good morning, Emma, he said, his voice cheerful yet careful, as if testing the waters. Emma's face lit up. Daddy, she shouted, running into his arms. Maya's chest tightened. She forced a tight smile. Remember our rules, she said softly. Breakfast first. Lucas chuckled, setting down the snacks. Of course. But she deserves a proper hello. Maya didn't argue. She watched him carefully, tall, confident, yet gentle. The man before her was not the arrogant, selfish Lucas who had left her in tears years ago. This Lucas was cautious, deliberate, aware of the fragility of the second chance she had begrudgingly allowed him. The first test. It was a Saturday afternoon when the first real test of his commitment arrived. Emma had a small birthday party to attend at a neighbor's house. Maya was overwhelmed, juggling last-minute invitations, snacks, and coordinating rides. Lucas appeared just as she was locking the apartment door, holding 3 small gift bags and a bouquet of flowers. You've thought of everything, Maya said, suspicion in her voice. I have too, Lucas replied with a wry smile. Otherwise, I'd be failing already. At the party, Lucas navigated the chaos with surprising ease. He organized games, helped tie balloons, and even comforted a crying toddler who had tripped over his own feet. Maya found herself watching, her arms crossed but her heart unwilling to stay as cold as she had intended. See, Lucas whispered as they stepped aside for a moment. I'm here for her, not for me. She gave him a sharp look. I'll be the judge of that. He nodded, accepting the challenge silently. Emma's question later. As they walked home in the fading sunlight, Emma held Lucas's hand tightly. Mommy, why didn't Daddy stay before? Maya's heart clenched. She knelt to meet Emma's eyes. Because sometimes, grown-ups make mistakes. Big mistakes. And sometimes it hurts people they love. Lucas's jaw tightened. He knelt beside them. Emma, he said softly, I was wrong. I wasn't ready, and I hurt you and your mommy. But I want to fix it, if you let me. Emma tilted her head, thinking, can we try? Maya swallowed hard. That word try was the smallest, most dangerous word in the world. It meant hope. It meant risk. It meant letting Lucas back into their lives. Maybe, she said cautiously, brushing her daughter's hair back. Maybe we can try. Lucas's daily effort days turned into weeks. Lucas showed up reliably, sometimes too early, sometimes late, but always with genuine effort. He helped Maya cook, read stories to Emma, and even attended parent-teacher meetings. Maya observed quietly. Every interaction with her daughter seemed to chip away at the fortress of resentment she had built. Lucas wasn't just present. He was patient, kind, and careful not to overstep. One evening, as Emma slept, Lucas cleaned up the toys scattered across the living room. Maya sat in the doorway, watching him. You're trying too hard, she said softly, almost teasing. He glanced up, smiling faintly. I'm trying right, because I don't want to mess this up again. Her throat tightened. Words failed her. She simply nodded and walked away, leaving him to his quiet effort. The first conflict not, everything was smooth. One rainy afternoon, Lucas took Emma to the park without telling Maya. When she discovered it, panic and anger surged. I told you to always communicate. She shouted, pulling him aside. I know, he exclaimed. But she wanted to go. She was asking me. I didn't think I just wanted to make her happy. Maya's eyes flashed. Do you even understand the responsibility? You left us once, Lucas. One wrong step now, and I won't forgive you again. He exhaled, frustration mixing with guilt. I get it. I know I messed up before. I'm not trying to run from responsibility. I'm trying to be here this time. Maya stared at him, her anger softening as she noticed the sincerity in his eyes. Actions speak louder than words, she said quietly. Lucas nodded. Then watch me. I'll show you, every day, that I'm different now, that I belong here. Emma's bridgma became the bridge between them. Every night, she would tug at both their hands and say, family. Maya initially dismissed it as innocent play, but Lucas noticed. She's trying to tell us something, he said. Maya shook her head, unsure. No, she's just a child. She doesn't understand. But as the weeks passed, Emma's attachment to Lucas grew. She began repeating his name, wanting to play with him, and even demanding he read her bedtime stories instead of Maya. One evening, Emma fell asleep clutching Lucas's hand. Maya watched silently, a mix of fear and awe in her chest. She couldn't deny it anymore. He had earned a place, slowly, steadily, with love, effort, and patience. The turning point came unexpectedly. Maya had to travel for work for a few days. Lucas insisted on taking care of Emma while she was away. She hesitated at first. Could she really leave her daughter in the care of the man who had abandoned them years ago? But seeing him carefully pack her daughter's bag, checking her favorite toys, and tucking her into bed with stories and songs, she realized the truth. Lucas had changed. He was no longer the selfish boy she had loved and lost. He was someone capable of love, patience, and commitment. When Maya returned, she found Emma giggling, showing her drawing after drawing to Lucas. The bond was undeniable, and in that moment, Maya whispered to herself, maybe, just maybe, Lucas deserved a second chance. The city streets were drenched in spring rain, but inside Maya's apartment, warmth filled the space. Lucas had been visiting daily, slowly, carefully, weaving himself into the fabric of their lives. Emma greeted him every morning with laughter and squeals, tugging at his hand as if he had always belonged there. Maya, however, remained vigilant. Trust wasn't given lightly, it had to be earned, step by step, word by word. Lucas, I need you to understand, she said one afternoon as he helped Emma with her painting. I'm not a child anymore. I can't forgive lightly, and neither can she. One misstep, one empty promise, and it's over. Lucas looked into her eyes, steady and sincere. I know, Maya, and I'll prove to you every day that I'm here to stay, not just for me, but for her. The first real challenge was a Sunday morning when the real test arrived. Emma's school had organized a mini talent show, and she wanted Lucas to help her practice. Maya had been busy with work, and hesitated, but Lucas insisted. Trust me, he said, kneeling to meet Maya's eyes. I've got this. Maya reluctantly agreed. At first, the practice was chaotic. Emma wanted to perform a dance routine she had invented herself, insisting on adding twists and spins Lucas had never seen. He stumbled at first, almost knocking her off balance, but then something remarkable happened. He found a rhythm, encouraging her, guiding her gently, and laughing when they both got tangled in a sequence of steps. Maya watched from the doorway, a small smile tugging at her lips. She had never imagined seeing Lucas in this role, patient, nurturing, fully present. It was a side of him she had long buried under anger and disappointment. The past returns just as progress seemed steady. Maya's ex-colleague, Claire, appeared at the apartment door. She had known about Lucas before the breakup and had been following his career. "I can't believe you let him back," Claire said, her tone sharp. "You know what he did to you." To her, "You're risking everything?" Maya sighed, her hands tightening around Emma's coloring pencils. "I know what he did, but I also know he's trying. And Emma, she needs him." Claire shook her head. "Trying isn't enough. He left once. He can leave again. Don't let your heart trick you into believing this fairy tale." Maya turned away, conflicted. Deep down, a part of her still feared betrayal. But another part, the part that saw Emma's joy, Lucas's commitment, and the undeniable connection between father and daughter, whispered that sometimes, love deserved a second chance. Small victories. Days passed. And with each one, Lucas proved himself. He helped Emma learn new words, celebrated small milestones, and even started reading bedtime stories in creative voices that had her rolling with laughter. Maya watched quietly, her walls gradually softening. One evening, as the three of them built a pillow fort in the living room, Emma looked at Lucas and said, "Daddy, build here." Maya froze. That simple word carried a weight she hadn't expected. Not only had Emma chosen to call him Daddy, she had done so with authority and clarity, a choice that could not be denied. Lucas's eyes glistened. "Emma, you just made me the happiest man alive." Maya's chest tightened. For the first time, she felt a fragile hope blooming, tempered by caution, but undeniably present. A step too far. Even as progress was made, obstacles appeared. Lucas wanted to attend a business dinner, and Maya refused to leave Emma with a babysitter she didn't trust. "I can't just let you take her out," she said firmly. "She's not ready to be around strangers for long hours." Lucas frowned. "Maya, I'm not asking to take her to a stranger. It's a charity gala. I want her to see the work we're doing, to be proud." "I don't care," Maya snapped. "I've seen what happens when you act impulsively. We're not risking it. She's my daughter first." Lucas's face fell, but he did not argue further. He realized this was part of the journey. Earning trust didn't mean bending rules. It meant respecting boundaries. The emotional turning point. Weeks later, Lucas planned a small picnic in the park, just the three of them. Maya had reluctantly agreed, expecting chaos, but what she witnessed was something far different. Laughter, gentle guidance, and a father slowly but surely becoming part of his daughter's world. Emma pointed at a butterfly and ran to Lucas. "Daddy, catch." He laughed, pretending to chase it clumsily, letting Emma giggle uncontrollably. Maya watched quietly, her heart aching and softening at the same time. "Maybe," she whispered, "maybe he really can be trusted." That night, as they returned home, Emma crawled into Lucas's lap for her nightly story. Maya sat nearby, tears threatening to spill. The man who had abandoned them had returned, not with empty words, but with actions, and slowly, her heart realized that love, true, patient, and persistent love could heal even the deepest wounds. Emma's choice. Emma's first word to Lucas had been accidental, but now it became intentional. Each time she called him Daddy, Maya witnessed the bond strengthen, not forced, not guided, but chosen. Lucas knelt one evening, holding Emma close. "I'll never leave again. Not for work, not for ambition, not ever." Maya, standing behind them, finally allowed herself to breathe. She realized that trust, once broken, could be rebuilt, slowly, carefully, and with undeniable proof in the laughter and eyes of the child who had chosen him. In that fragile yet powerful moment, Maya's walls began to crack. She allowed herself to hope, to consider forgiveness, and to imagine a future where Lucas wasn't just a memory of pain, but a part of their family's healing. The morning sun streamed through the curtains, painting Maya's apartment in warm, golden light. Emma giggled as she ran toward Lucas, her tiny hands reaching for his face. "Daddy, Daddy, come play." Lucas caught her effortlessly, spinning her in the air while laughing. Maya leaned against the doorframe, watching silently, her heart a complex swirl of relief, awe, and a lingering caution. She had seen this side of him before, patient, kind, attentive, but today, it felt permanent. Today, it felt real. The moment of truth later that afternoon. Maya prepared lunch while Emma napped. Lucas cleaned up toys and sang softly to himself. A rare sight of contentment. Maya decided it was time to confront her own fears. "Lucas," she said, her voice calm but firm, "you've proven yourself in small ways, but can you handle the big picture? Being a father isn't just playtime and laughter. It's responsibility, sacrifice, and constant presence. Can you really commit?" He paused, his eyes locking with hers. "Maya, I don't just want to be here. I am here. Every day, every hour, every decision. I choose this life with you and Emma. Not for appearances, not for pride, but because I want to be part of her world, always." Maya studied him for what felt like an eternity. His sincerity was undeniable. Every gesture, every moment, had been proof. And now, standing in the quiet apartment, she felt the weight of her anger finally lift. A test of patience that evening. Emma had her first school recital. She wanted Lucas to be the one cheering the loudest, and he had promised he would. Maya, of course, had reservations, but she had also begun to trust his consistency. The auditorium was packed, filled with parents, teachers, and friends. Emma took the stage, her tiny hands shaking slightly as she prepared to recite a poem. Lucas, sitting in the front row, leaned forward, offering encouragement. "Look at me, Emma. You can do it. I'm right here," he whispered. Emma took a deep breath and began. Her voice wavered, but every word was clear. When she reached the final line, she looked directly at Lucas and said with absolute certainty, "Daddy." The auditorium erupted in polite applause. But to Maya and Lucas, it was the loudest sound in the world. Emma had spoken the word fully, intentionally, with understanding and love. It was no longer accidental. It was a choice. Tears filled Lucas's eyes. He rose from his seat, clapping and cheering louder than anyone else. Maya watched silently, the warmth in her chest almost unbearable. She realized, in that moment, that the final barrier had been crossed. The healing begins after the recital. They walked home together. Emma skipped ahead, hand in hand with Lucas, occasionally looking back at her mother with a smile that seemed to say, "It's okay. He belongs here now." Maya followed, her emotions a mix of relief, lingering fear, and tentative hope. She knew forgiveness wasn't a single act, it was a journey, a series of choices and validations. And Lucas had proven, day by day, that he was ready to take that journey with them. Back at the apartment, Lucas prepared Emma's favorite dinner while Maya unpacked groceries. It was domestic, simple, yet profoundly healing. Every small act, a dish washed, a story read, a bedtime hug, was a testament to the man he had become. "Thank you," Maya said quietly as she watched him hand Emma a spoonful of mashed potatoes. Lucas glanced at her, smiling softly. "For what?" "For showing up. For not leaving again." He placed a hand over hers. "I never should have left, but I'm here now. That's all that matters." Emma's first intentional word that night. After Emma had drifted into sleep, Lucas and Maya sat together in the living room. Silence hung between them, comfortable yet charged with emotion. "I was afraid," Maya admitted. "Afraid that letting you in would mean losing control. Of Emma, of myself. But seeing her choose you, saying your name, I understand now. You're part of her life. And maybe part of mine too." Lucas's hand found hers, gentle and grounding. "I'll never make you regret it. Not ever." A soft giggle came from Emma's room. Lucas peeked inside and saw her curled up, clutching her teddy bear, murmuring softly, "Daddy." Maya felt tears spill freely. That single word, intentional, loving, chosen, was more powerful than any apology or promise. It was the bridge between the past and the future, the culmination of every effort, every tear, every second of waiting. A family reunited. Days turned into weeks, and the rhythm of life settled into a new normal. Lucas was no longer the absentee father or selfish man Maya had once known. He was present, reliable, and deeply committed. Emma thrived, laughing, learning, and growing with both parents by her side. Maya watched them, occasionally shaking her head in disbelief at how far they had come. Trust had been rebuilt, but more importantly, love had been reaffirmed. One quiet evening, Maya placed a hand on Lucas's arm. "We did it," she said softly. Lucas smiled, eyes glistening. "No, she did it. She chose us. Every day." Maya nodded, realizing the truth. Sometimes love isn't just about words, or apologies, or promises. It's about showing up, earning trust, and allowing a child's pure, innocent heart to guide the path forward. And as they stood there, watching Emma sleep peacefully, Maya finally allowed herself to hope for a future she had once believed impossible, a future filled with love, family, and the healing power of second chances. Life doesn't give second chances easily, but when it does, it can heal even the deepest wounds. Maya and Lucas's story reminds us that love, patience, and forgiveness can bridge years of pain and regret. If you've ever lost hope or felt abandoned, remember, showing up, being consistent, and choosing love can change everything. Share this story with someone who needs to believe in second chances. And let us know in the comments what you would do if you were in Maya's shoes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for more heart-touching family stories.